Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Hello, everybody. Whoops. Sorry. I was supposed to let you take that one. I was just so excited to be back. Jordan, how are we doing?
We're good. Bonsoir, nos amis, or should I say bon matin, nos amis. Jordan Hachey here with Kay Imam. Kay is back, everyone. Finally, she has returned to Game Over Montreal. This is my first stream with Kay.
Yes.
It seems weird. Kay has come on a podcast that I made last year. That's how I knew Kay from before Game Over, but great to be here. Great to do a stream with you, Kay. And the Habs, you said the Habs are ruining our lives. I think you're right.
They at least ruined my night. Let's put it that way. I think I'm throwing a bit of a temper tantrum because things like it was just an up and down game, right? Like it that makes it really hard to be measured about this team.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really weird one. Overall, the full body of work of the game was like not bad, but also it was like the worst game ever. So and it's 1 a.m.
Makes everything a
So
lot
it's
worse.
it's rough out here. It's rough out here.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, but we are Game Over Montreal. Thank you for joining us if you are here. I mean, I can't blame you if you're not here, if you're watching this the next day. But please, if you enjoy our videos, if you enjoy our live streams, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out in this world of algorithms. We need people to get our name out there, and we really appreciate it. We'll be talking about, well, just what went wrong this game. It's Kay's first game back, so obviously we're going to do a Caden Gooley check, and we'll talk about a few players that we enjoyed this game. We're expecting to keep this one a bit shorter, but let's move into the first period here. And Montreal loses 7-5 rather against the San Jose Sharks after an empty net goal. They had two separate leads in this game, and it felt like as soon as they had those leads, they just let off the gas immediately.
Yeah, I'll give them the first one, I think. Starting the game right away, I was pleased with what I saw. Right away, I was pleased with what I saw. And then Nick Suzuki has that very soft penalty called on him. And I think honestly, this game was full of soft penalties, I'll be honest. I think there were few both sides that I was like, okay. Um, so not much, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that that penalty happened, changed the momentum of the game, I think. Um, it's it was it felt like, and Montreal MUFC says in the chat, which thank you for stopping by, everybody who stopped by. But Montreal MUFC says in the chat is an immature performance we can no longer afford as a team. And I would certainly say immature is one way to go to, to describe the way this game.
Yeah, I think like a big reason why we were able to come back is because the Sharks are just worse than us.
Yeah.
Like we're obviously when we turned it on, we're obviously much better than them. And in bigger games and more important games, like in the grand scheme of things, this game really doesn't matter. Like if Montreal still makes the playoffs, this game doesn't really matter. It seems likely they'll still make the playoffs without this game, but it was weird because yeah, you said immature. I thought especially right after they went down 5-2, Josh Anderson, or was it after no, after they went down 4-2, Anderson took the stupidest penalty you're ever going to see. Just a guy like barely brushes near Dobesh, like doesn't really touch him, and he just completely goes ballistic on Kiefer Sherwood. An obvious call, hits, takes a penalty, then punches him in the face to make sure, in case the ref was going to let him get away with it, that he was going to take a penalty.
Listen, if
And
he got the
that felt
penalty
like for no
already,
reason.
might as well get a free one.
Felt like for no reason. And uh,
Ah,
and then it felt like once in a while Anderson just like kind of gets crazy and mad on the ice and just takes a dumb penalty, and you really hate that. And then I literally wrote in my notes, I wrote, "It's effing over." Like, after
Yeah.
that, they scored 5-2. I'm like, "I'm done. This was the worst night of my life. Why am I awake at 12:30?" And and then and then somehow they miraculously come back, but even all the goals, like, every single goal that you let in, you can point to a specific thing that went completely wrong that is so avoidable, and I think that's really the problem with this game overall.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is with the Anderson that I think you're right. That just happens occasionally with him where he just decides to have a bad moment where he's like, I'm just gonna take it out on someone, which really isn't cool because like that is someone's head. You don't love to see it. Like, I don't think he cross-checked his head, but he like did the like it got high. It was a stick up high, and I did not like out of a player on my team. Um But, and I think Kiefer Sherwood's whole thing is he's very good at annoying other team because I watched him play the Avs a lot, and for some reason he just gets the Avs. So I watched him like initiate, but this wasn't even him initiating. He just happened to skate by. So overall, my point being, it sucks to see a veteran on this team take a penalty like that because you can almost honestly at this point you can't even really excuse young guys because they've even the younger guys have been around long enough and like the
Mhm.
guys who haven't are like Dimitrov and Conan and either of those guys do that kind of thing. So my point being is like it really sucks to see that come from a guy who's supposed to be dependable. Um, uh, I just sorry, I'm still stuck on that 5-2 one because that really could have been game over. Like, no.
Yeah.
But it really could have been. It wasn't, but it could have been, right? I know. So,
No pun intended there at all.
no.
But yeah,
Sorry, you
somehow
asked me about the rest of the game and I just got stuck on that, but I think
yeah,
that could have been a big moment.
it was, and, like, again, like I said, if Montreal was not a better team, like, then San Jose, like, if we played San Jose in 2 years, for example, there's no way you're coming back in that game, like, and, we get a lucky call, like, obviously Demidov draws the tripping, but it's still a lucky play where he makes a nice play and a rookie defender gets his stick caught in his feet and drops his stick and trips him up. So then we get some momentum on the power play. Then we get a lucky bounce to Newhook, and then we somehow tie it after. Like, it just felt like it was the luck gods were on our side. But then they come back, and then the luck gods just switch it for one play on the penalty kill where we get a too many men penalty where it was pretty obvious we had 6 players on the ice. I didn't even know what happened. I'm watching the game, and when it comes back from commercial, that's when I realized we got a penalty, and so I have to rewind my freaking TV to see that we have 6 players on the ice for like 3 full seconds, and that play itself was straight up emblematic of this game as well.
Yeah, that's straight up the most humiliating penalty to lose a game. And they lost a game. Not like straight
Yeah.
up, right? You literally have a can't count penalty that you got and you lost it. You lost the game on that. I don't know, maybe, not to like brighter sides it, but like maybe in the larger scheme of things that teaches them this is not sustainable because this has been sustained in the past. Like it seems to happen for this team over and over again. The luck is there, the skill is there. I'm not even gonna say it's always luck. Sometimes it's just Nick Suzuki having a great night. Sometimes it's Cole Caulfield just having the scoring touch. It just I'm not gonna say that they luck into all these comeback wins, but they're not always gonna happen and they can't be depended on. So maybe this is a I don't know, like maybe this teaches a lesson. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Yeah, that's what, like, I'm hoping, like, at least hoping they can learn from this. Like, this was a disgusting effort that somehow turned into a 6-5 or 7-5 game with an empty netter. Like, I do wanna, like, relitigate the San Jose. I thought they were so bad.
Can you repeat that, Jordan? Sorry.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I wanted to relitigate the San Jose goals, like the other goals, because I did think they were so bad. I see some talk in the chat. We'll get to that in a second, some goalie talk, but basically, like three. Okay, so the first goal to let them tie the game. Puck's loose in the high slot. Cole Caulfield has a chance to bring it out. He tries to chip and chase past the defender in our own zone. Can't get it out. Okay, like it was a risky play, but it could have sent him on a break, so you can kind of understand. Then Kirby Doc goes for the puck, plays weakly, loses the battle. Then somehow Nick Suzuki comes into the same scrum, takes a bad angle, doesn't muscle his guy off the puck. They win it. Mike Matheson plays man coverage when they're coming back in 3-on-2, and then it becomes a 2-on-0, 2-on-1. Garbage. Just a garbage defensive play, an absolute blunder. Second goal, literally the like this is it the same thing like or something really similar where oh wait, did I write this down? Okay, well, the 3-2 goal. Okay,
Yeah.
oh no, the 2-2, no, so the 2-1 goal,
Yeah.
the their second goal, Jaden Struble easily has position on the puck in front of our net, close to our net. I thought he easily wins that puck battle. I was like, clear it out, you're good. He somehow loses it, and then it's in the back of our net. Then Kirby Doc loses one on the fourth goal, where that is an even worse puck battle to lose than Jaden Struble. He was so weak on the puck.
That
And then
was a
Mike
rough
Matheson's
one.
caught in no man's land. Brutal. And then, of course, Celebrini's goals, Dobish really should have saved it. And it's like, okay, so obviously we have some goaltending problems, but I mean,
I have a
dumb
hard
penalty.
time I have a hard
Yeah.
time blaming this one on the goalie, honestly. And we've
Oh,
had
not
plenty
this
of
game.
those. We've had
No.
plenty of those this season, so we know what those look like.
Yeah.
But it was just messy. It's ugly. It was ugly
Yeah.
hockey.
Like 4 out of the 6 given up were straight up ugly, like disgusting goals that never should happen. And like we're seeing some talk in the chat. Okay, MUFC says trade Struble and Carrier on the spot, get Logan Stanley and or promote Reinbacher
I'm not playing
with the
Logan Stanley on
team.
my team.
Um yeah,
Hopefully.
I so like with Struble, I can understand why you don't want him. Like, wouldn't necessarily want him either at this point. That was an inexcusable puck battle to lose. Really dumb. Like, he has proper positioning. I don't understand the Alex Carrier dislike. I think he's a very solid, good player.
He's good for what he
Um,
is.
yeah, which is a third pairing defenseman. Like, I don't know what you need to expect out of a third pairing defenseman. If you expect more than Alex Carrier, I feel like that's just like a little bit like hyperbolic of what you're expecting.
I think the thing about I'm not even bothered by Carrier, but to focus a little bit on Stroll, this happened where him and Arbor Jack Eye exchange periods of play where they are good and then they're not, so the other one gets subbed in and they're good and then they're not. And this is just, and I guess that's like the life of a 7D, but I don't love that. I wish there was some consistency on our bottom pairing, right? Um I'm seeing Montreal MUFC say he's physically weak. I disagree with that.
Hmm.
Carey is very good at taking hits. He takes a hit to make a play all the time and he bounces right back. I just disagree with that, but you know, and Reinbacher's not I'm not listen, I don't know a lot about what's happening in Laval, but I'm not ready to bring Reinbacher up when he's not ready. I'm not touching that, especially to play him on the third pairing. I think that's a
Mm.
I think that's a bit of a waste of Reinbacher. But to stick to this game, I think that was an inexcusable game by Jaden Struble, and I would not be surprised to see that guy in.
Yeah, and it's kind of just a cycle where they'll come in, they'll have one or two good games each, and then just have a couple stinkers or one really big stinker in case of Struble right today, and then just switch, and it creates a really weird dynamic with our three pairings, especially in close games in the third period, where you're gonna see Struble or Jacki play one or two shifts in the third, which is just so awkward and not really what you want. But Yeah, we'll see what happens. In terms of the Binnington discourse, I'm also seeing in the chat. Andrew and I talked
And
about
we've
this
seen
last
this
stream, but
we see this
yeah,
online as well, by the way. This is not just a one
yeah,
space, yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, like real rumors. Andrew and I said we are going to make a Game Over Montreal crash out video
Yeah.
if Montreal trades for Jordan Binnington. That will still happen. Montreal MUFC. If that happens, stay tuned for that video. It's going to be a fun one. But let's move over into the second period. That was a crazy, insane game. We just had a pretty disorganized segment here
Like the
because that game was
Habs.
just so weird. And it's 1 a.m.
Yep,
But we will hear from our amazing partners in Inchubiju, and then we'll be back for our Kate and Guli check.
absolutely. Right back.
Famous chateau at 4000 Rue Saint Ambroise lies one of Montreal's coolest secrets, a glamorous Gothic jewelry store owned and run by women. Inchu Bijou isn't just a business. They've built a community that supports bold creativity and expression. When I was first introduced to founder Astrid Episegomian's shop, I was floored by the detail, vision, and scale of what she's built from her own mind. I don't think anyone would call me goth, but I know an innovator when I see one. Along with building their own business, Inchu Bijou also hosts markets for vendors in their space called Marché Maleficarum, boosting their whole community. If you don't live in Montreal, explore inchubijou.com, where you'll find over 800 designs that range from affordable to bespoke. Check out Inchu Bijou right now, a Game Over partner from the beginning.
We are back. I did really just quickly, sorry, awkward time to take a sip. Um, I think Jordan might be frozen for a second here, but as he unfreezes himself, I suppose. Um,
Oh, I'm
oh,
back.
you're back? Okay.
I'm back.
You're still frozen, I think, just on camera. But while you do that, and if you can hear me, so I'll just break it down real quick. Um, I am I was just talking about the time and ice breakdown. Uh, and I wanted to just mention the defenseman real quick. I think you're back, Jordan. Um,
I
oh,
am.
no, you're not. Oh, you're back. You're back. Okay, good. So I just want to mention the defenseman real quick. We have Jaden Struble at the least time on ice at 8 minutes 47 seconds. Second highest is 12 minutes and 38 seconds. Alexander Carrier. And then there's a huge jump from Caden Gooley of 20 minutes up. This is not sustainable, I think, is all I wanted out like really quickly as I was looking at the
Yeah.
time on ice. This is not sustainable. We gotta figure something out.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sharks fan in the chat, Semcast, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it, and really anyone who's in the chat right now, we
Absolutely.
we really really appreciate you guys. Montreal MUFC, vaguely stats, like you guys are real. Honestly, absolute sickos for staying up this late and watching Habs content. Absolute animals, but so are we up here. So we appreciate you guys. But Stanley Cup final matchup in the future, I think that's certainly a possibility.
I think it's a very real
Certainly a
possibility.
possibility.
Yeah. And I don't know if I love
Yeah,
that matchup.
and yeah, it's not great, but we'll see what happens in the future. We are Game Over Montreal. We're back here in the second segment. We are doing a Caden Gooley check because it is Kay's first game back.
Yes.
And I thought Caden Gooley was really good today, but also overall, I just think he's been settling in very effectively since he's come back from his injury. And Kay, I don't know how much you've been able to watch, but I forgot how good this player is. And I was talking with Andrew in our last stream, and I said, well, do you think he's a sleeper or a dark horse to be on Team Canada in 2030?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if it's quite that far, but I think the world of this player. As I was watching him come back, as he was starting to reintegrate, obviously before the break, I think getting a few games in, good for him. But ever since the break, having I think the time to get caught up, everybody's kind of one step behind. So a guy who's been injured, who's been one step behind, can kind of get, you know what I mean? Like it balances out for him, I think. Um, but one thing that I repeatedly, again and again, am seeing really that I realized not I don't think any other defenseman on the Habs is as good with their stick as this guy is, he is very good at breaking up plays with his
Yeah.
stick. He's very good at, and I think this is a few other defensemen are good at body positioning as well. But I really like what I'm saying. When do I not? But like, especially now, especially having the steadiness, I think that's one thing that I can really appreciate about Kane Goulet is you know what you're getting out of the minute. Um, and I think when you have instability, especially in your bottom pairing, when you have a lot of moving pieces, for a coach like Marty, I'm sure he appreciates having that who bottom and right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even with Mike Matheson, who's become so dependable, you still see him have his moments sometimes where you're like, Mike, buddy, come on, like
Yeah.
maybe pass the puck instead of shoot it 50 times, right? So I feel like Hidden Goal, you know what you're getting there in terms, of what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think one other thing that maybe isn't brought up enough about Caden Gooley is he's still 23 years old, right? And he's had a lot of injuries. And what that means is it takes away development. And especially with defenders who develop a bit, typically at least develop a bit later on in their careers, I think there's still a bit of room to go for Kanan Gooley in terms of how he can mature as a player. Because, like you said, he's probably the most consistent defenseman on the squad, just in terms of his defensive play, in terms of in his own end. I think he doesn't have quite the upside of like breaking out the puck like a Mike Matheson or Hudson, right? But he's steady. He makes the right play more often than not in his own zone, and he's good defensively, great with his stick. He broke up like two plays in the crease today, like just today, and he's also not an offensive black hole. So he's not like your typical run of the mill defensive defenseman where he's does nothing on offense. Like he's typically, at least I would say, probably an average offensive defenseman, and he works effectively like up high. He's got a pretty good shot, and he it's really nice having him back. And I think
Very
Montreal
good
in their
skater.
final form, yeah,
Very good
yeah,
skater.
he's a very effective skater as well. And like in their final form, I think Montreal will need Kalen Gooley to hit his real potential, which is, uh, which we're hoping is really good.
Yeah, yeah. I think so too. I know we want to touch on we wanted this to be a really quick thing, but just to reminisce a bit, I guess. I still remember his first season, when he came in and he was right away, and I do mean right away playing 5 minutes. And he was playing it on his right side, if I remember, in on the right side, which is his wrong side. And they really threw him to the sharks there. And I think in a weird way that almost forged him in some fire, and now he's able to have some of that calmness. I still remember him going up against Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby as a rookie, right? Like, I think something like that is part of the reason why and I'm sure it's really difficult to come back from injuries, and I know he was really excited to really have a healthy season. I know he did a lot of conditioning on that. So I'm sure it's like mentally really hard to get in
Yeah,
again. But uh, I feel like he was here for the worst. Like they really put him through the ringer to the fact that I'm like, this is a player who I also trust to be um mentally, and I mean that just in terms of mindset, not necessarily, I'm not passing any judgment on his personal life. I just mean on ice, how he's thinking, his reactions to the game. This is a guy who I feel like we could, despite the injuries, I still feel somewhat safe with him in the lineup. You know what I mean? Like, is that weird? But you know what I mean.
yeah. Like I think it's just nicer having him in there. And I know Montreal was like really hot at one point when he was out,
Mm.
but I would say that has little to do with him,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but just like, yeah, if he can hopefully continue just to stay healthy, again, work on the conditioning again in the off season. It's not like he's seems like he's injury prone. Like he's been getting a lot of freak injuries. Like, wasn't it last year he got like a skate in the groin or
Yeah,
something? And
yeah,
it's been so weird with him. and hopefully he can stay on the squad and he can play both sides. Isn't that crazy? That he can just play left and right, and I think he is still really effective on the right side, even though
I
he's
would
not
agree.
right-handed.
I would agree.
I have no problems with him playing on the right, and that's beautiful. Who a player you can move up, down, left, right in your lineup, who's steady almost every single game, and yeah, even I think he can play with any of the three defensemen as well. I would love to see him with Dobson.
Me too.
I don't know if they tried that. They
I
might
think
have
they
at
have.
the start of the year a little bit, but oh no, they
No,
never
because they
did.
started
But
with
I would love
Matheson
to.
and Dobson.
Yeah, I don't know if I love Matheson Hudson though, but I would love to try Gooley Dobson, and maybe that's in the future when Matheson is like starting to decline, like towards the end of his contract, and then hopefully Reinbacher is ready to play, and then that's when you could maybe play him with Dobson. But I think that could be such a good pair, and really him and Hudson could be such a good pair, and him and Matheson are such a good pair, which is it's great.
It's great. Yeah. I really love this player, as everybody knows. Really happy to get his groove back.
Yeah, and we'll move forward. Vaguely stats. The ball pit is coming. We are ready to hear from the amazing Le Saint Motel, and we'll be back talking about some of the players we thought were really good in this one.
Gonna move really quickly.
While you're browsing into Bijou's goth shop, head next door and discover Montreal's most unique selfie studio. Whether you're looking to take some banger pics of your Halloween costume or cosplay, or you want to make some memories with friends, Le Saint Motel has you covered. Experience their bombastic decors that are always changing, hop in the ball pit, and take advantage of their extensive and flexible on-site lighting. Head to lesaintmotel.com to book your time in the studio, book private time where you and your friends will be the only ones allowed in, or book the space for an event. The dedicated, caring staff will make sure that you have a good time. I do have one warning for you before you book. If you have kids, they won't want to leave. Whether you're at Le Saint Motel or in Bijou, tell them Game Over sent you.
Hello. We're
Welcome
back.
back to Game Over Montreal. I'm Jordan Hachey. She is Kay Imam. We are here breaking down this Habs game, talking about a few players that we enjoyed watching today, despite the absolute kerfuffle and garbage we saw on the ice. If you enjoy us, if you enjoy any of our videos, any of our streams, we are live after every Habs game, by the way. Please consider leaving us a like, subscribe. It really does help us. And if you subscribe, then you won't miss our stuff, which is great because we have amazing Habs analysis. And Kay is back for the first time in months. It is amazing to have Kay back with us. So we'll have even more hosts, even more diversity, and more different thoughts on the channel as opposed to me and Andrew just echoing the exact same things every time. But we are back. I wanted to touch first on Yuri Slavkovsky's game, and then we will talk about a few players that we really enjoyed. But it seems as though coming out of the break, Yuri Slavkovsky seems a little bit off. I thought he's really strong Olympics. I think everyone thought he was just going to hit the ground running again, but it seems like things are just a little awkward and a little off for him right now.
Yeah. I think that was kind of my two thoughts about it. I was like, either he's gonna come back and it's gonna be an absolute gonna be on fire right away, or it's gonna take him some time. Because they really worked my boy into the ground, I think, to Slovakia. And fair enough, they had to work with what they had to work with, but it's and it's not even mental or sorry, physical tiredness that I'm seeing out of Slav. I'm just seeing questionable decisions. The kind that we saw when he was, before he hit the stride where he seemed to be forcing things. Um, I don't think he's necessarily been bad. I just think it hasn't been good. Like I don't think it's been when you're a team that's depending on top two line, when I would even say maybe a Kapanen has had a bit of a hard time coming back adjusting. Demidov had one or two games where it was, or the first game I guess was a little rough, and then we've seen back a little. Um, so it's just that line is struggling, and I think Yuri Slavkovsky when he's struggling, that line's
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think just what it is I think he's just trying to rush things a little bit. I don't know what it is exactly that has him doing that again, but it's we saw like three no look passes that went to
Jesus
Timbuktu,
Christ.
or that went right to the that went right to the to a shark stick. There and I think you and Laura on Blue Sky were talking about that, and then Laura goes, I swear, if I see another no look pass, and then 1 minute after I look at that, Slav throws a pass right to a shark stick, and I'm like, hey, at least that one he looked. So it was rough. I think there were 4 or 5 just genuinely brutal passes in this game. And you can still see like in certain shifts, he's physically dominant and really good on the forecheck, winning the puck back. Like when we had the goalie pulled, he won like 3 separate puck battles that kept us holding on to the puck. Like he's still in there. I think he just needs to work through this. He's still a young player, and I think we got spoiled a little bit with just how good he was playing, and with the absolutely grueling schedule that we have this year, and then him being like the guy that they need to rely on at the Olympics, and he played every game that you can play
Yeah.
at the Olympics. It's a lot, and a 21-year-old having to run a top 6 line, having to be the main force, the main catalyst, it's tough, and hopefully he'll get through it. I would still give him a bit of a runway here before we can
Oh yeah,
like start to get any sort of worried, but I think it was just worth mentioning.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So let's move on to something more positive, and that is two of our friends over playing
Yes.
on the on paper fourth line, but really it's definitely most definitely the third line. It's Jake Evans and Alex Newhook, who have just been incredible together since Newhook's been back, and also individually.
Yeah. Yeah. No, these are two players that I absolutely love. I actually posted about the first Alex Newhook goal. It was Alex Newhook from Jake Evans, who got the puck from Caden Gooley. And I was like, that is the only way that goal could have been possibly better made for me was if Nick Suzuki was involved. So frankly, that was a hell of a goal. Alex Newhook. Okay, there's a lot to say about Alex Newhook. I think there's real skill there. But I want to take my time on Jake Evans for a second because I've been seeing some negative talk about him, you know, post contract, blah blah blah. Like guys, we were never gonna get however many goals he scored in his contract year, Evans. That was not what they signed him. That's not what they expected of him. What they expected of him was a very important bottom six center in faceoffs when you need him to. That can be a defensive safety blanket in a way. That can, be a big part of your penalty kill. Last game versus the Caps, and I'm sure you and Andrew talked about this, but I don't know for. But those, for the empty net goal, the 2 blocks on Alex Ovechkin shots, right? It's
Mhm.
not about today's game, but that kind of attitude is something that transfers over game by game. I think Jake Evans really knows what it. I think, and I don't want to say it's any like laziness or anything like that, but I think sometimes you just got to simplify things when things aren't going your way. And when I think Jake Evans is very good at that, very good at those simple. It was a really impressive game. I'll let you speak your piece before we both get excited about Alex Newhook.
Yeah, well, not only did we talk about the blocks, that was the look. It was his look at his big Esco moment. I think one thing you see is, or actually, before I proceed, I mean, January 2025, Jake Evans was a different animal. But uh, what you see time and time again is this team, right? We see like once in a while, we'll see performances like this, a immature performance, or you'll see down games, and consistently, time and time again, Jake Evans is the one to step up, not anyone else. It's Jake Evans, who you said simplifies the game, just does the right things, plays with very good pace, plays very effective defensively, and once in a while will make a really nice play in the offensive zone.
Once in a
That's
while,
Jake
he'll just
Evans.
have a
And
banger of a goal.
yeah, and that's exactly what you need out of your bottom six. It is a steal of a contract to have an elite fourth line center at that cap hit for the next couple of years. And I every day, every game, I am just so impressed with him. I love me some Jake Evans. And yeah, he set up the goal with Newhook. And I also want to add, okay, when him and Phil Deneau were on the ice, I think I only saw them on the ice like just because of stuff gets jumbled when there's a
Yeah.
power play, and for some reason Brendan Gallagher's on the power play, but we don't need to talk about that right now. But
Oof.
but when he's on the ice with Deneau, I think it was 3 or 4 shifts. It was like the most dominant like two-way shifts I've ever seen. And I just want to say that if Montreal can somehow figure out how to play those two guys together consistently, like that might be like just like a different stratosphere of defensive acumen.
Yeah, because I feel like Phil, which by the way, just want to point out, Phil Deneau, I know there's been some touch and go moments, but ultimately, I think Phil Deneau has not forgotten how to play hockey, which is what people would have you believe if you look at his numbers in LA. So I don't think he actually forgot to play hockey, guys.
Score today.
Um, yeah, it's like we're not. Let's not worry about it. But yeah, yeah. Jake Evans, my boy.
Yeah, and your other boy, the man from Nova Scotia,
Yes,
Alex Newhook. Fun fact, I actually met Alex Newhook one
really.
time at the PWHL draft. His sister was getting drafted,
Yes.
and I was there, and like he's with his family, and I went up to him and I said, "Go Habs, go," and then I walked away.
Oh, that's
It was really
nice.
funny interaction. But Alex Newhook, man, we talked about this a little bit with Andrew as well, but just been so impressed with how he's been able to hit the ground running. His speed, and I don't know if agility is the right word, but he's like a gazelle on the ice, if that makes sense. Like it's just so smooth. It's so amazing to watch him skate, and his skating really just opens up everything for him. Obviously, he's got pretty solid hands. Like he's got good hands for an NHL player, but the real asset of Alex Newhook's game is skating, and it was really scary to see him go down with a bad ankle injury. And he's back, and you see it in back-to-back games here where he just opens up the game with his skating. 3 goals in his last 2 games. Did he score last game? I think he did. Yeah, 3 goals in his last Oh no, he had the
Wait, no,
assist
no,
when
he
he
didn't. He had the
broke
assist.
open.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so 3 points at least in his last 2 games. And yeah, I mean, I'll let you say your piece, but Alex Newhook, whew.
yeah. So Alex Newhook, obviously, been following him in. Um, the thing about the ads is if you're getting a guy from them, you're most likely getting a guy who's, wow, he's fast, right? It was fastest kid in the world, kind of that meme. And that's something that I always expected from Alex Newhook. But recently, and especially this year, you really saw him use that speed. He didn't just quite like put his head down, skate, get there, and then be like, "Row, row," right? Like that was never a moment. We never had to worry about that, which I feel like Josh Anderson does sometimes, where he just like
Yes, yes.
skates too ahead of his. Be happy that he came back, and with an injury like that, like you said, you worry about his speed, worry about biggest asset there, but it doesn't look like it harmed him at all. And to come back
Yeah.
after such a long time off, the lack of rust is really impressive. Very clear he's been working really hard off the ice.
Mhm.
Uh, he's all indications are that he wants to y'all, and I think he's aware that he was one of those players that's like on the cusp of like go might not. And I think the season has been, including coming back from the really important for Alex Newhook. Um, we have a few players in that spot, and Alex has taken advantage of what he. Also, I just want to quickly shout out Mark in the chat. Hello, I also miss you. I also earlier saw Anand from Game Over Montreal in our. I also really quickly. Also, really quickly. Sorry, Jordan. If you haven't liked the video, please be sure to do that. A quick reminder, if you're here and you haven't subscribed, please do that as well. We are simply beholden to the algorithm and interaction. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Yeah, yeah. And back to also New Hook a little bit. I think one thing he's brought into this year because in the games that he's played this year, I would say that New Hook has played at the level of a top six forward. Plain and simple. I think what he's brought is yes, he uses his speed more effectively. I also just think he thinks the game a little better now. I don't know if if that seems right to you,
I would
but
agree.
just just his ability, right, to use his speed and then pair that with how are the other players on the other team going to react to that speed? How can I use that anticipatorially, if that's a word, to make space for my teammates like he did against Washington when he splits through in a 3-on-2 and forces all the defenders back, right? And that's that's what you're seeing, and then just the continuation of his development of his regular skills that he's always been good at. His stick handling, his skating is really great. And like, dare I say, like at this point, if he keeps playing this well, like he might be like you can't get rid of it. Like there's no that would be a huge mistake to get rid of him if he keeps playing this well.
Oh, I fully agree with that. I don't think I know the Habs have a lot of guys that they're trying to fill in their lineup. I know there's more players than there are seats. We're doing musical chairs, except like it's not even one, one seat less than the players. We got like quite a few seats, uh, less than how many players there are, but I don't think you can afford to. Also, first of all, like you did trade, you did
Yeah.
sink assets. That's so you are you're not. That's another thing to worry, like not worry about, but think about. But I would completely agree with you. I'm seeing him make higher IQ plays in the last little while too. It really seems like he's put his head down, and I don't know what he did this summer, but whatever he did, it's clearly worked for him. And I'm just really happy for the guy, man. I think that's all it is.
Yeah.
I was really sad with that injury, and I'm happy that he's seems like he's picking up where he left off.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that trade, heading into this year, I think many saw it as a bit of an overpay. Two early second round picks. But whatever Montreal has done, whatever he has done to become what he is right now, and if he can continue it, that becomes a steal, which is crazy to say heading into this year. And you absolutely love his game, Kay. Was there anyone else, any other players on Montreal you wanted to shout out today?
Just really quickly, Jordan, just to go back to Alex Cook, and I'd love your opinion on this. This is something I actually meant to ask you and forgot. Do you move to the second line, or do you give that second line?
I think you do need to give it more time.
Yeah,
I think it would be a mistake not to give it more time. I know they haven't looked very good since coming back from the break, but that line has too much potential, too much there's too much at stake for you not to be patient with that line, which ideally, if that line can develop, is your second line on a cup contending team. And then and then in the future, when like Suzuki and Caulfield start to regress, they like overlap and then like become a 1A, like ideally. So I just don't see why you wouldn't why you wouldn't give them more leeway. But if it's like 10 more games and they're still playing bad, like this is a playoff team at the end of the day. You can't just a hammer into nothing.
yeah, yeah,
And so yeah, you got to give it more time for sure. I don't know what my max is for it. Like it depends how bad they look
yeah.
to be honest, but you have to at least give it like 5 more games at least. I just don't think that you can try to break it up right now. Also, one more thing, if you put Newhook on that second line at center, let's say, then that means you could put Kapanen at center on the fourth line, and then you can play Evans and Deno like I just theorized, and then it is perfect.
That is a way to look at it. For me, I think that the thing is everybody's always kind of thought about that second line as Demidov Slav, Demidov Slav, Demidov Slav, and Kapanen happens to be there. I think that's the I don't think that's the reality, but I think that's the idea in people's head. So I think
Yeah.
when they see a center coming up and seems well, the temptation is just to slot that center right in. I don't necessarily know games, and I know that seems like a bit of a rush, but there's
Really?
not a lot of games left. And this division is, I think in another division, you might be able to give them some time. So that also depends. They might not look good and this team might win anyways, in which case I think you still give them some more time. I think that case is
Mhm.
not too much time. But like you said, this is a playoff team and it's not it can't just be process focused. But I do think there's something to be said about how young that line is and letting them
Mhm.
work through it. As sometimes that's just what young players.
Yeah, I think you worded that better than I did. Where, yeah, like you gotta, they give them a chance to work through it. They're like 22, 21, and 19 years old, man. And two rookies are on that line. I mean, Kapanen scored today. I thought it was his best game since he's been back. I didn't have any problems with his game today. Like, oh, it was a pretty lucky goal, but like it was still, he's still doing the right things. And with how like rough Slav look, like it's hard to say like Kapanen is the odd man out when Slav is struggling in at this moment, and Demidov took a couple games to get his legs back and like just to get his game back. So yeah, it's a lot to think about. But we have just talked about Newhook playing at a top six level. So if you put him with those two guys, it would be an interesting experiment. Like I think he could work pretty well with them. It's just when you're focusing, right, you can't be too process focused. But when you're thinking about it, like the next 2 years or so, maybe you're not winning a cup. But do you think like in 2 years, so like in 2028, like do you think Kapanen could be better than what Newhook is? And that's really your question you need to answer by choosing to keep them together right now. What do you think about that?
That's a hard one. I don't know what Kapanen is. I genuinely could not.
Yeah.
I think he's an asset to the team, is what I could say. I'm not sure if you remember, but at the beginning of the year when Alex Newhook was still on this is still on this team. Sorry, I meant he wasn't injured. He was healthy. He is still on this team and he was always on this team, but you know what I mean. When he was on ice, it was him, Demidov, and Kapanen playing together. And that seemed to be a line that was
And Bolduc,
working.
wasn't it? Oh no, it
No,
wasn't.
it wasn't
Sorry.
Bolduc. Yeah, I think it was
Was it
Bolduc over.
Kapanen with them?
Yes, it was.
No,
It was.
Bolduc was with Doc. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, and it was
Huh.
the party girl line up top with
Yeah, yeah,
Dookie Coffee
yeah.
off, obviously.
How easy it is to forget, just like within the same year.
Right? Time just keeps moving.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and that's a bit of a cop out, but everything I really like what I see in Kapanen. I just I don't know because I've seen so much more of Alex Newhook. Kapanen is a rookie, right? We still forget that I think sometimes. But he's putting up crazy rookie numbers, which is very funny. Just league wide. Um
On
he's
pace
still
for 25 goals right now.
which is
Pretty
great.
good. Yeah.
Very good. Um but yeah, I that's a big ass cop out, but that's just kind of it is like you said, give this some time to cook. I agree. I think if you're losing because of that line, because of the position that line is putting you in, gotta
Yeah,
break them up quicker.
definitely.
If you're winning despite them, you can give a bit of time. And if they're doing great all of a sudden, hey, we love it again. Right? Like there's three levels that we can three various things that can happen and then three various uh places we can go with that. Sorry.
Yeah, like today that line wasn't particularly good, but it was a full team bad effort.
Yeah.
So like that's not a on the second line, right? And
No.
yeah, it's we'll see. I guess we'll see down the stretch what happens. We'll keep monitoring how that line's playing. I think I'll be looking at them with more of a microscope over the next little bit. I know you probably will too. And I guess down the stretch, we'll have to figure it out. But for now, it's really nice having Evans with Newhook and even Bolduc on that line and just having a really, really, really good bottom six line there.
Yeah, yeah. I think when you don't have that, you need your bottom six work and listen,
Yeah.
if they keep winning, uh there's a lot that can be forgiven. I don't know if I necessarily want that point of view to be what we go with. I think when you're a team that's like actually like in a point a team like the Avs, even if even if your process isn't necessarily working, but you're getting wins, you're getting wins. Team like the Habs don't necessarily love that, but hey,
Hmm.
it is what it is. Ultimately, it's up to Marty to put this all in perspective. I want him to, and I think he knew today wasn't a good game. Like I don't think he was under any impression that those 5 goals that were scored, 5 goals, were any sign of a good game. I think he knows.
Yeah, I agree. Unless he's talking about the Evans, Newhook, and Bolduc line, then it's okay. But yeah, not a good game for Montreal. A fun stream for us, despite it being so late here. It's almost 2 a.m.
Oof, yeah.
We are going to pass the overtime segment today. Kay is officially back. Kay, we are so glad you are back. And thank you so much for watching this or listening if you're on any of our audio platforms.
Yeah, everything, every information, every little piece of information you need is in the description box if you ever need to refer, including our social media names. You can always find me on Twitter and Jordan, where can they find you?
Oh yeah, I'm on Blue Sky as well. I'll be in the description soon. I'll make sure it's updated. But yeah, you'll find me there just interacting with Kay and Andrew and everyone in the Hab space over there. But yeah,
Okay, we're gonna sign off. Thank you so much, everybody who's been watching. Love having you here, and go Habs, go.